Hey, Kat Chancellor here with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and this is my project for today. This is a masculine card, and it's actually going to be a pop-up card where this workbench is going to pop out of the middle of your card, whatever sentiment that you want, and in this case, it's Father's Day. Now, here is my design that's basically called a floating plane design, and if you want to find some more information, it's in this book called The Pop-Up Book by Duncan Birmingham, who also has a YouTube channel, and he kind of shows some different techniques. And I really wanted to do something that I could use the Trusty Tools set for. So this is my prototype, this is my plan. And you're going to need some thick basic white cardstock for your base card. I'm using silver metallic foil for cutting out my tools that are going to go onto the front, as well as some copper clay and some smoky slate cardstock. You're going to need the stamp set Trusty Tools to stamp out all these tools, and I used just regular basic white cardstock, and then I colored them using my stamping blends, and I've used Daffodil Delight, Cherry Cobbler, Smoky Slate, Pecan Pie. This is Daffodil Delight, and then I used my ScanNCut to cut out my pieces so that I could get them very close to the edge. I'm also going to use some retired DSP, and this was part of the celebrations, and it's called the Trusty Toolbox 12x12 Designer Series paper. There's some really neat elements here, some pegboard. I love this red kind of toolbox color, and then this gray background piece that I used here. I also used the Country Woods 12x12 DSP. This has some nice wood grain patterns that I used for the top of my workbench here. Now, whatever color you choose for your base, I recommend that you choose the coordinating cardstock for your pop-up mechanism, and I'll show you how to put that together. Now, these are interesting little trinkets. These are the industrial trinkets that are in the annual catalog, and they caught my eye because I was really trying to come up with a design, and I really thought that played in well for my card front design and my pegboard. So that's something else that you're going to need. So these are the dies just to cut the tools that we're going to have for the front, as well as the pegboard that we're going to cut. Now, because this card, I'm using dimensionals to kind of pop up my stamp tools, it is kind of thick. So the project that we're going to do now is going to include a belly band. I think that will be a much better design for this card. I'm also using the sentiment Thinking of You for the front of my card, as well as I may use a birthday sentiment because I'm going to make a card for my brother to wish him happy Father's Day as well as happy birthday because the dates are so close together. I'm also going to have a PDF that will be available that's going to have how to put together your mechanism, as well as a color guide for the different project, all the measurements that you're going to need, a stamping blends color guide for all the tools, and then how to do the pop-up mechanism, as well as just some pictures that will augment the video tutorial on how to put that together. So that will be available on my blog. I think those are all the pieces and parts. So let's go ahead and get started. So I just wanted to show you how I created my tool set here. And all I did is I took a piece of basic white cardstock, and it's about 5.5. I used my Stamparatus, and I placed my tools stamps across the front, and then I simply stamped on this side and then I turned it around and I stamped on this side. And then I'm going to use my colors, winter wheat, and it's just going to go and be my pencil. And then my light daffodil delight is going to be my and this is my dark daffodil delight right here. I'm going to take my boho blue. I'm going to do this line right here. And then my light cherry cobbler. Go right here. Now, let me go ahead and pull in a little bit so that you can see how I'm going to do this. So this is light cherry cobbler. And this is dark cherry cobbler. Now I'm just going to take my cardstock and I'm going to adhere it to my brother's ScanNCut sheet, and I'm going to here add a little bit of mint tape to ensure that it sticks, because this sheet's kind of old and sometimes it's not as sticky. Okay, so I put this through the ScanNCut and I'm going to go ahead and pull these off. Now what I do is I take a Sharpie and I just want to go over the ends of my figure, because when I put them on my image I just don't want any of the white cardstock to show. I think it just kind of makes it look a little bit more realistic. I'm using thick basic white cardstock, and I'm going to take a 8.5 piece by 5.5, and I'm going to score at 4 1/4. I'm going to cut 2 layers out of the DSP at 5 1/4 by 4, and I'm also going to cut the front of my DSP layer 5 1/4 by 4. I'm cutting this belly band out of smoky slate. It's going to be 2 inches by 11 inches. And I'm going to score that at 3 7.5 inches. And then I'm going to cut a couple of DSP layers that I'm going to use for the front, and those are going to be cut at 1 3/4 by 4 3/8. And I'm just going to use some coordinating DSP colors. Now the pop-up mechanism that we're going to be using for this card is going to measure 5 inches by 3 inches. And I'm cutting it out of, in this case, it's going to be smoky slate. In the PDF, it's going to be out of copper clay. So here you can see that it measures 5 inches long, and it's going to be 3 inches wide. Now when you put it on the scoreboard along the 5-inch side, you're going to score at 1/4 inch, 1 3/4, 3 1/4, 4 3/4. And on that 3-inch side, you're going to score at 1 1/2, and then it's going to fold because that's going to create your mechanism. And you can see that I have cut from the middle of that score line up to that top section, and that is going to create 2 flaps. I've also mitered the 1/4 inch tabs that are on the ends. Now you're going to lay your card out so you have your seam down the middle, and you have your 2 DSP pieces have been added on the edge. Now that's where your mechanism is going to lie. It's going to lie in the middle, and you're going to go on ahead and you're going to put it about 2 inches from the edge. And I'm going to pull in my ruler here, and I'm going to mark 2 inches from the edge, and then I'm going to use my T-square, and I'm going to ensure that it's parallel across the middle of that seam so that I can put both points of my mechanism along that line. I'm then going to ensure that the points are about 1 inch from that middle seam. So it's 2 inches from the bottom and then 1 inch from the inside middle seam. Now I'm just showing you how the mechanism is going to be glued on the inside of your card. The key things to look at is that scored seam of your base card and the scored seam of the mechanism. I'm then going to use the glue, and I'm using 3-in-1 glue, or use my Cosmic Shimmer. I wouldn't recommend Tombow because if that glue seeps out, it's very sticky and it's going to ruin your mechanism. I'm aligning it to the inside seam, making sure that seam and the inside seam of your card line up, and that it's the 2 points are 2 inches from the bottom, and that the bottom points are 1 inch away from that seam. And I'm just going to hold it there until the glue kind of begins to take hold, and then I'm going to use my bone folder to very, very carefully just kind of press it into place before I fold my card over. Okay, so I'm just going to fold it over to make sure that my seams are together, and then I'm going to kind of press it. And that is the first side of your mechanism that's glued. We're then going to open it up, and we're going to attach glue to those bottom tabs, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold it over so that it will adhere to the inside of your card, and it's going to form our mechanism for a pop-up. And I'm just erasing the pencil lines that I drew there using my T-square. So the next part is that the mechanism has to fold over and form a square or a box, and you want to tuck those tabs inside. And if you fold the card, it will tell you where those tabs need to be, because that mechanism will already begin to fold. So you kind of want to use that movement to help you. Now here I'm going to use my Cosmic Shimmer glue, because this, if it seeps out, will dry and will not be tacky like Tombow. And I'm just going to place it on, but then I'm going to smear it as smoothly as I can to my 2 tabs. And this is kind of the tricky part, but you want to kind of very carefully just kind of fold your card over, and where the glue is, it's going to attach to the inside of your card, and it's going to automatically show you, and it's going to pop up. There you go. There's your mechanism. And just make sure that that dries nicely, and I'm just kind of pressing it with my hand. But once you open it, your mechanism is going to be formed. There it is. Now for the workbench top, you will need 2 pieces. One will be cut out of the Country Woods DSP, and that's about 3 inches by 4 1/4. And then I'm using another piece of cardstock, either basic white or a coordinating color. In this case, it's Smoky Slate, and that's about 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. And you're going to score both at about 2 1/8 from the edge to create your seam. Then you're going to glue them both together, and this is simply just going to give you a nice firm workbench top so that you can begin to glue the tools for your pop-up card. And this is primarily because we're using some DSP, and it's very thin and kind of wobbly, and you need something just a little bit more secure. Now when you place your workbench top, you want to place it so that it is right at the top of your mechanism and it does not protrude beyond your card when it's folded. And all my measurements here will ensure that if you use these same dimensions that it will not protrude. And then you want to do the same thing that you did with your tabs, and here I'm just using this very secure glue, 3-in-1 glue, and you want to put it on and very carefully kind of put it in place and use your card, use how your card folds to make sure that it kind of attaches to the right spot to the mechanism for your card. And there you go. You have created your pop-up mechanism for your card, and it works perfectly. As you open up the card, it will pop up off the paper. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp and cut out our sentiments for the front and for the inside. And I'm also going to adhere all our tools to the inside of our workbench. So I'm just going to speed it up now so that you can kind of watch how the card comes together, and then we'll meet on the other side to put together the belly band. Now when doing the arrangement for the inside of my card, I thought that putting the sentiments, these sentiment flags, was placing those first was kind of key, and then I could kind of work the tools around. I've got the two tools that I'm picking for the front of the belly band, which will be the pliers and the wrench. And then for the inside, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my two tags, and then I'm going to kind of work an arrangement of tools around that. Okay, so I have finished. This is this one here. What I want to do, I'm making this card for my brother because his birthday and his Father's Day, they kind of run together. So I just, and he's a big tool guy. So I'm going to put that together, and I went ahead and I put this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a belly band that's going to go around like this. So we can pull this out, and that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to put this with these here, and we're going to have our thinking of you. That's going to be our design. Now what I'm thinking though is I think I'd like to cover this front and part of this with some of this paper here. So this is about, this is perfect. This pattern right here is about 2 inches. So let me go cut this. Okay, so I cut this, and that is exactly 1 and, I don't know, it's like 1 and 5/8, 1 and 5/8. So that is going to go there. So I'm going to cut this. Let's see, and this is 3 inches. I'm going to cut that right about there. And then we're going to cut this one. I don't know. So that one's like 3 inches, and that one's about 2 1/4. I could cut this just 2 inches right there. So this is going to go here, and this is going to go there, like that. So that will fit nicely. That will fit nicely there. And then this is going to go, that's going to go right there. And it has to be pretty much in the middle, I think. So between, turn this around. Let's turn that upside down. And by turning this upside down, I'm going to go ahead and get a mark where I want my glue. It's going to be right about there. So I'm just going to kind of put glue. Okay, so my belly band is glued. So now these are industrial trinkets. Okay, so there you go. A pop-up card using the Trusty Tool dies and stamps. This was my first effort, and I kind of used that Country Woods DSP. I've got these little tool pieces cut out of the silver metallic cardstock just to add some tools on the desk. And this is my Father's Day card. This is going to my uncle. My father passed, so I always send a Father's Day card to his brother, my uncle. Now, because this card was so big, I went ahead and created this version using a belly band. And we just open this up, and it's pretty much the same format, but I added a little piece. The DSP actually comes with this neat little pattern that's like graph paper, so I added that along with the pencil just to kind of add a little bit, something else that's a little bit fun. And this is the one that's going to my brother. Happy birthday and happy Father's Day. It's the one we just completed. Okay, and I just love the way that pops up. And then for my PDF, I created another one, and this one has that nice belly band here. Then I created this one, same concept, only this one has a different DSP on the inside and a different color of the Country Woods DSP. Again, I used the little graph paper here with my pencil, and I made this just a happy birthday card. And I used this wonderful kind of pegboard DSP, and that is this one. So I just love these. There you have it. If you got something out of this, please hit like and share. Give me a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. All products are available on my online store, except for those that I've told you that are already retired. You can go to my blog for details, and also you can go to my blog to kind of get the PDF that has everything, all the dimensions and measurements all written down for you. If you're looking for a demonstrator, please consider joining my team, or consider joining either as a hobbyist where you get a 20% discount. Now, if you're a demonstrator and you like my channel and I've given you something of value, please support my channel by hitting like, share, and leave a comment. This is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. Thank you for joining me, and happy stamping.